Ferrari is furious and demanding justice after shocking claims surfaced about Red Bull and Sergio Perez cheating. The paddock is buzzing with accusations that could change the entire championship race. With new evidence coming to light, tensions between Ferrari and Red Bull have reached a boiling point. Could this scandal be the end of Red Bull's dominance? What does it mean for the drivers and teams involved? Baku and thrilling races go hand in hand, much like bangers and mash. The 2024 season has been delivering unforgettable moments, and the Azerbaijan Grand Prix was no exception. With twists and turns, this season is shaping up to be one for the history books. For the first time in a long while, Red Bull has lost its lead in the Constructors Championship, with McLaren claiming the top spot. But McLaren's hold on that position is far from secure. Ferrari is close behind, ready to seize any opportunity to overtake McLaren. Red Bull, on the other hand, is determined to fight back. The championship battle could have been even tighter if not for a dramatic crash on lap 49, which has sparked a lot of discussion and controversy. While the weekend was expected to see a rivalry between Red Bull and McLaren, Ferrari's involvement has stirred the pot even more. The collision between Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez could have major consequences for both drivers. One driver is trying to recover, while the other deals with the aftermath of a costly mistake. With just 2 laps to go, the crash may have robbed us of a rare safety car finish in Azerbaijan. Baku once again delivered a memorable race, and this incident could go down as one of the most impactful moments of the season. Red Bull's 2024 struggles mirror past failures. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix of 2024 brought back memories of Red Bull's 2018 self-destruction and Lewis Hamilton's infamous brake magic moment. This time, the race marked a huge blow to Red Bull's hopes in the Constructors Championship. With McLaren soaring and Ferrari hot on their heels, Red Bull's dominance is crumbling. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri's performance cemented his place as a real contender, silencing doubters who dismissed his earlier wins. Piastri faced pressure in Baku, making a bold 50-50th move that could have made or broken his race. The young McLaren driver didn't falter, leaving behind any doubts and dominating the latter stages. With this win, he firmly established himself as a rising star, showcasing his skill and determination. While Piastri dazzled at the front, the midfield saw its own share of excitement. Williams had a standout race, with Alex Albon and Franco Colapinto finishing in P7 and P8 respectively. This double points finish boosted Williams to P8 in the Constructors' standings, while Colapinto leapfrogged Kevin Magnussen in the Drivers' Championship even after only 2 races. Magnussen has had a tough year, struggling to keep up with teammate Nico Hülkenberg. The impressive debut of B-Man in a Haas only added to Magnussen's woes, as he was outperformed yet again. If Haas has any sense, they might consider replacing him for the rest of the season. Meanwhile, Audi could benefit by snapping up Colapinto for their future plans, especially if they want fresh talent over the more reserved Albon-Hülkenberg pairing. Oscar Piastri perfectly captured the brewing drama when he joked, "That's the 3rd time they've finally finished the job." He was referring to the ongoing tension between Ferrari's Carlos Sainz and Red Bull's Sergio Perez. This weekend in Baku had already seen both drivers clash on several occasions, including multiple trips to the stewards for impeding each other. But the lap 49 crash was the tipping point, sparking a fire that had been simmering all weekend. For Perez, the race had been going relatively well. He maintained his position at the front, consistently running in the podium spots. For the first time in several races, the Mexican was performing at the level Red Bull expected from him. Sky commentators praised him throughout the race, suggesting that Perez was doing enough to justify Red Bull's continued faith in him despite his lackluster performances earlier in the season. However, as many observers noted, Perez's strong showing was somewhat expected. Baku has always been a circuit where he shines, and Red Bull had banked on his success here. This track is one of the main reasons the team kept him on board, along with the financial benefits he brings. The aftermath, Red Bull's costly crash. Unfortunately, the lap 49 incident not only robbed Perez of a solid finish, but also dealt a significant blow to Red Bull's Constructors Championship hopes. The team lost precious points, dropping them further down the standings. On top of that, the crash resulted in a hefty repair bill, leaving Red Bull scrambling to fix the car before the challenging Singapore Grand Prix. While this incident may not end Perez's career, it undoubtedly puts him at a disadvantage heading into one of the season's toughest circuits. As the dust settled in Baku, Sergio Perez expressed his frustration over what could have been a strong weekend. Despite an overall positive race for the Mexican, the lap 49 crash with Carlos Sainz left him during a missed opportunity, not just for himself, but for the championship. Perez remarked, "In my opinion, Carlos moved too quickly to follow Charles. Wrong time, wrong moment. It led to a huge crash. It's a disaster for the championship for both of us." Red Bull team principal Christian Horner was quick to come to Perez's defense, making his stance on the incident crystal clear. Horner voiced his disappointment with Sainz's actions, stating, "I was watching the replay and you can see Carlos drifting across the track. Very disappointing. Sergio deserved to be on the podium today." Horner didn't just stop at the incident though. He highlighted Perez's strong performance across the weekend, noting how this was the first time this season Perez had outperformed Max Verstappen. While Perez didn't finish ahead, he had shown consistency throughout the race. The crash wasn't just a disappointment for the race, it was a setback for Red Bull's Constructors Championship hopes. Horner lamented the damage to the car and the lost points. With a tough Singapore Grand Prix looming, the team faces an uphill battle to repair the car and regroup. Despite the unfortunate outcome, Horner praised Perez's rhythm, suggesting his improvement might also have been linked to a flawed upgrade on Verstappen's car. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, shed light on the setup challenges that might have impacted Max Verstappen's performance during the race. He noted that while Sergio Perez found a good rhythm with his car, Max's setup seemed to introduce issues that caused difficulties. Horner said, "C's car was very quick today, but we might have put some things on Max's car that didn't work as well. We damaged the tires fighting through the pack for too long." Horner compared Max's situation to George Russell's strategy, explaining how Russell started his stint slowly, preserving his tires and building up speed later in the race. This tactical difference could have contributed to the tire wear Max experienced throughout the race, impacting his overall performance. While the crash was a bitter disappointment for Red Bull, it seems Ferrari's Carlos Sainz might face more long-term consequences. The blame for the incident appears to be falling on Sainz, with Horner suggesting that Sainz's maneuver cost him a potential podium finish. The Spaniard had been patient in clean air, and his strategy seemed to be paying off before the crash occurred. According to Formula One pundit Karun Chandhok, Sainz could face further penalties in the next race in Singapore. Chandhok analysed the incident, noting, "It's natural for a driver to move away from the wall, and from the onboards, we see Sainz look in the mirror just before the contact with Perez. Unfortunately for Carlos, he might have to take more of the blame for this crash." Was Sainz really to blame? It feels a bit unfair to pin the blame entirely on Carlos Sainz for the crash. Yes, Sergio Perez had a better exit, was set to benefit from DRS on the straight, and had the inside line for turn 3. But the real cause may not have been Sainz's slight drift left, it was likely due to the visibility issues that drivers had been complaining about all weekend. This poor visibility probably caused Perez to react too late to Sainz's movement. Perez had space to adjust, and he was well positioned to challenge in the next turn. Neither driver seemed fully aware of each other's movements or positioning on the track, which contributed to the crash. While Red Bull has every right to be upset, it's hard to say Sainz was entirely at fault. Carlos Sainz is standing firm, claiming he didn't make any unusual moves. "I saved my tyres well, overtook Perez as he was battling Charles, and exited turn 2 using my normal racing line," Sainz explained. "I didn't do anything strange, but for some reason we collided. I felt there was plenty of space, but I guess that's racing. You can go through 48 laps with no issues, and then something happens in the last 2. So after hearing both drivers' sides, who do you think was responsible for the incident? We believe it's more of a 50-50 situation than it seems. But as always in racing, opinions vary. What's yours? Share your views and subscribe for more.